Hey Bats, how are you? Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're returning. So, people seem to love my coverage on 5 creepy videos on YouTube that can be watched right now, so I wanted to do another set. This stuff is what I absolutely adore, and I like talking about it. I'm super thrilled to see folks enjoy hearing what I have to say and being made aware of this awesome stuff. So that said, let's get right into it, shall we? Number 5. Her Lovely Fears. Dabier. Her Lovely Fears is another video by Ben Wheel, who seems to show up a lot on these lists. Something very warranted, however. This is one of their less viewed videos at 122k views, though it was released 13 years ago, which is a shame. The story of this one is pretty straightforward on the surface. A girl is walking along, who then comes across a bouncing monster. The bouncing guy then takes out a gun, to a catchy beat might I add, and shoots a bird dead. The girl asks why he did it. It's Dabier. She says she hates Dabier, and the hate festered until another girl, possibly the same one, comes out, sings, and destroys all instances of it. This piece is definitely very dreamlike and reminded me of Alice in Wonderland. Some people note that SpongeBob episode with all of the alone parts forming around Squidward too, which I think is a good comparison. I will latch onto the weirdest things, and this is no different. But when the bird is taken down, it makes a really weird glitching noise. I've always found such a noise eerie for some reason. Glitches can be used in horror as well, especially when distorted faces come along with said noises. Back on topic, the festering hate seems to have pushed someone into action in order to defeat Dabier, which is great. I saw someone jokingly say it was Dabier, as in da, then beer, so beer, the alcohol. Which would make a very dark spin on this, to be honest. There could be a lot of symbolism in this case. Ben may not be telling a symbolic story at all, but I'll take a swing at what I got from it. While someone mentioned alcohol jokingly, I think it still has merit in some way. The guy with the gun shooting the bird down is a symbol of the main protagonist's loss of innocence, so probably a family member in the past that was an alcoholic. But rather than letting it ruin her life, she chooses to go into performance and then shatters this fear, because she conquered it, shatters the fear of basically the alcohol or whatever. Her hate then turns into something good. She made something of her life despite her dark past. Maybe she can leisurely drink at times too. Of course, again, my take could be and is probably wrong. That's the beauty of art though. Number 4. The news hasn't happened yet. Another David Firth video. But their stuff is awesome, like Ben's, so they'll show up on here a lot. This one is a bit relevant to today with just how information we get. I'll be talking about the entire series though, not just the first video. Basically, the news that hasn't happened yet is a creepy spin on commentary that news contradicts itself and is constantly grabbing at our attention. We are constantly bombarded with information, which is quite scary. One thing that stood out to me toward the end was the mockery on how when everything is going to certain people will still focus on the economy, as the world burns down around us, of course. I should avoid politics, that's not the point of this channel. You can't help notice, though, the political commentary in this one. I may make a jab here or there, but my affiliation should be quite obvious. Let's talk about the visuals, though. Firth uses a lot of effects, like things bursting from the heads of people talking, for example. There is the lizard coming out of the dog, the alien coming out of the woman, and other such examples. This one is particularly creepy because of its relevance, of course. There are a lot of people out there who are nutter butters. In the first video with Andrew Tolvin, I did notice how he was elected into a very high position despite being a serial. That sort of thing is a pretty big trend with certain political party types. The right. That aside, fact-checking is incredibly important, especially in this day and age. It should be done on all sides of the political spectrum. Regarding certain parties, there's enough on them that makes them evil as hell. Making up stuff just damages the truth, so don't do it. Let's move on, shall we? Number 3. Pursuit. I'll talk a lot about the horror superstars in my channel a few times over, but that's because I adore talking about their videos. David Romero showed up in another one of my videos and landed on this list again with this one. This one is a minute-long video that is completely silent and very eerie. There's a woman running from someone and it has a very found footage sort of vibe, but in animation format. Eventually, the thing pursuing her does get her, and she's dragged off, leaving a trail of blood. She did not, in fact, get away. How do you even get away from an invisible foe like that, anyway? This one is very effective because it's fairly to the point. No jump scares, just the acceptance of inevitability. I don't think at any point we thought the woman got away either. I really like the lights going off as she ran down the end of the hallway too. Can you imagine if that truly happened? They say it's not the dark that's super scary, it's what could be in it, so the unknown. We know that there is something aggressive that ended up leading her to her death. Watch out for bloodthirsty monsters in the dark, bats. Oh, and I really like the use of shadows to indicate when the woman got caught. That was something super cool. On to our next item on the list then. Number 2. Cooking Idol. Nana is the maker of YouTube 666 and they have some super eerie videos. I'm glad to have finally pulled theirs onto one of my lists to talk about. And boy is this one off-putting to some people. To others it's just a lovely, helpful cooking show. That's all. Now then, this video is giving us instructions on rice cakes wrapped in bacon. The song in this is lovely, even if I don't prefer rotten food. In fact, I find it disgusting. Fresh meat is the best. Right off the bone, still squirming in my claws. What were we talking about? Right, Nana's cooking show. So we see a lot of red. Red is the primary color here. Our main character is a sweet little girl and just wants us to learn how to cook, of course. There might be a ton of blood, but there's not a problem. The sounds are a bit chaotic. I found my heart rate going up a tad given said chaos, but you know, otherwise 4 out of 5. It's all in good intention, of course, too. Cooking shows are important after all. You can learn a lot. Even if this one is in the dimension where there's a lot of bloodshed, of course. In this case, you learn that the cooking room is the same as the torture room, which is very fun, might I add. Make sure to turn on subtitles, you will definitely know what I mean. Along with the soy sauce at the end not being optional. I would avoid missing that detail, because if you do, bad news for you. Wouldn't want to upset the little girl here now, would you? Number 1. Reflection. Now we get to number 1 on our list, the scariest to me. Mirror demons freak me the f*** out. I may be a monster myself, but those things are my worst bloody nightmare. The mirror demon from this video is no different. A lot of people comment on how the woman was making dumb decisions, but how they wouldn't experiment, yada yada, and everyone is different though, so remember that. Sure, she could have just run, but that probably wouldn't have helped her much in the end now, would it? The other thing that gets me about this is the mirror demon's face. It's super scary. The whole stretched out mouth thing always causes me to feel a little bit off-put, which is ironic, isn't it? Anyway, I like how when she initially is looking into the mirror, you can see the demon in said mirror behind her. They move right along with her. Super scary, and in the end, the main protagonist couldn't get away anyway. Not only that, but the sound in this video is super off-putting. I'll have it linked in the description, but I suggest you go watch it. I mean, that laughter is just ugh. Not only is the music and sound effects on point, but the voice of the demon itself is super eerie. Just don't mess with that thing. Like I said, that laughter is off-putting as heck. Anyway, thanks for joining me in another journey of spooky videos. If you enjoyed this and want more, please like and subscribe. Also, comment down below what your favorite was on this list and let me know what content you'd like me to cover in the future. As you can tell, I adore horror content, particularly leaning toward the paranormal or artistic. I'd love to continue talking about that. Cheers all! Have a nice night or day wherever it is for you folks.